Welcome to What You Missed Today from Voice of Emirates, an AI-powered daily news bulletin where we bring you a concise roundup of the top stories we have covered since this morning. From local, Arab and international news to economy, entertainment, sports and lifestyle. I'm the virtual presenter for Voice of Emirates. Now, let's begin with the highlights of what you may have missed today. Egypt and the UAE are exploring an expanded petroleum partnership aimed at increasing oil and natural gas production. Egyptian Petroleum Minister Karim Badawi met ADNOC Drilling CEO Abdullah Ataya Al-Masabi to discuss the company's participation in a major onshore and offshore drilling program. Badawi said increased drilling is central to Egypt's 5-year production strategy, while ADNOC Drilling expressed interest in strengthening its presence in the Egyptian market. Both sides agreed to hold technical meetings to identify future projects and cooperation opportunities. Germany's Alternative for Germany party is aiming to form a state government in Saxony-Anhalt, as it seeks a historic political breakthrough in the country's east. The AfD has strengthened its support in the region and hopes upcoming state elections could give it its first opportunity to lead a German state government. However, mainstream parties continue to reject cooperation with the AfD, maintaining the political firewall against it. The contest is being closely watched as a major test of the party's growing influence in German politics. U.S. envoy Tom Barrack has joined a meeting between Syrian Foreign Minister Assad Hassan al-Shaibani and Mossad chief David Barnea as diplomatic efforts intensify to ease tensions between Syria and Israel. The talks focused on security arrangements and efforts to prevent further military escalation while exploring possible understandings between the two sides. Washington has been working to facilitate communication between Damascus and Israel, with discussions increasingly centered on border security and regional stability. And from the political news, U.S. President Donald Trump has renewed his criticism of Canada following the collapse of trade negotiations between the two countries. Trump accused Ottawa of unfair tariff practices, as new U.S. tariffs of 50% took effect on around $20 billion worth of Canadian goods. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney rejected Washington's terms and announced dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs beginning September 8. The escalating dispute is raising concerns over consumer prices, cross-border supply chains, and the future of economic relations between the longtime allies. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has acknowledged the severe economic and living difficulties facing citizens amid rising prices and growing pressure on household incomes. Pezeshkian said the government must confront the country's problems realistically and improve people's living conditions. He also rejected claims that Iran could be pushed into a Venezuela-style economic collapse, saying such efforts had failed. His remarks come as Tehran faces mounting economic pressure, currency weakness, and continued challenges linked to sanctions and regional tensions. Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, is set to visit Tehran on Monday for high-level talks with Iranian officials. Iran's foreign ministry says the visit continues growing diplomatic and military coordination between the two countries. Munir recently held talks with Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, focusing on regional peace, security, and shared challenges. The visit comes as Pakistan continues its mediation efforts between Iran and the United States, amid renewed economic pressure on Tehran and continuing tensions surrounding the Strait of Hormuz. And from the business news, the UAE and Russia are advancing their economic partnership through a new agreement aimed at expanding investment and bilateral trade. The initiative seeks to create new opportunities for businesses, facilitate investment flows, and strengthen cooperation between the private sectors of both countries. Economic ties have grown significantly in recent years, with cooperation extending across trade, industry, technology, logistics, and other strategic sectors. The agreement reflects both countries' efforts to diversify economic partnerships and establish a broader framework for long-term investment and commercial cooperation. Iran's currency has fallen to a new record low, with the US dollar approaching 200,000 tomans on the free market. The dollar traded near 198,000 tomans, rising more than 6% in less than a week. Analysts link the sharp decline to high inflation, growing demand for foreign currency, and reduced foreign exchange inflows. The continuing maritime blockade and disruption to Iranian oil exports have added further pressure, while fears of tougher US sanctions and political uncertainty continue to weigh on the currency. Malaysia has ruled out acquiring Datasonic Technologies, the company responsible for supplying the country's passports and national identity cards. The National Security Council confirmed the decision after reports of a potential takeover valued at around 7.5 billion ringgit. Authorities said protecting the security and sovereignty of citizens' identities remains a top priority while ensuring value for public spending. Datasonic currently holds government contracts worth about 2.46 billion ringgit to supply passports and identity cards through 2032. And what you might missed from the art and entertainment news, skywatchers around the world are preparing for 2 upcoming solar eclipses, among astronomy's most spectacular natural phenomena. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between Earth and the Sun, blocking some or all of the sunlight across specific regions. Depending on the alignment, an eclipse may appear total, partial, annular, or in rare cases, hybrid. Scientists say eclipses also provide valuable opportunities to study the Sun and its outer atmosphere. Experts warn viewers to use certified solar filter glasses and never look directly at the Sun without proper protection. Egyptian star Amr Youssef is returning to Ramadan television with a new action series titled 180, produced by Karim Abu Zikri. The 15-episode drama follows a firefighter facing a series of dangerous challenges and high-stakes situations. The project marks Abu Zikri's first venture into action drama under K-Media. Ahmed Magdi El Masri will make his directorial debut, while Mohammed Hegab is writing the screenplay. Preparations and casting are currently underway ahead of filming for the Ramadan 2027 season. The anniversary of the destruction of Palmyra's Temple of Balshamin recalls one of the most devastating attacks on Syria's ancient heritage. Built nearly 2,000 years ago and dedicated to the Canaanite sky god Balshamin, the temple reflected a unique blend of Syrian, Greek, and Roman architectural influences. On August 23, 2015, ISIS destroyed much of the monument with explosives. Once among Palmyra's best-preserved landmarks, its ruins now stand as a reminder of a civilization that survived for centuries and of the cultural heritage lost to conflict. We conclude our roundup with the top sports news stories you might have missed. Al Jazeera continued their perfect start to the ADNOC Pro League season with a valuable 2-0 away victory over Sharjah in the second round. Brazilian forward Vinicius Melo was the star of the match, scoring both goals for the Pride of Abu Dhabi. He opened the scoring in first-half stoppage time after a precise cross from Felicio Mendes, before adding his second after the break. The victory gives Al Jazeera 6 points from their opening 2 matches, maintaining their impressive start to the new league campaign. Barcelona have opened talks with Egyptian striker Hamza Abdelkarim and his representatives over improved contract terms, according to Fabrizio Romano. The Catalan club wants to revise the 18-year-old's current €15 million release clause after his impressive pre-season performances. Abdelkarim scored 4 goals in 5 friendly appearances, strengthening the club's confidence in his potential. Reports suggest Barcelona could raise the clause to as much as €150 million. However, negotiations remain ongoing, and no final agreement has yet been reached. That was your roundup of what you may have missed today from Voice of Emirates. For the full stories, visit our website and follow us on social media for the latest updates. Thank you for watching. See you next time.